Aloha everybody, welcome to part 15.
I hate it when they leave me behind. Look, it's Shadow. I really gotta stop whining. Everyone's trying their best to help out, and so must I. Shadow, we need you. Please help us.
It's all going according to plan. There's no reason for me to help them. Besides, there's no way to save anyone.
There has to be. I know that people fight over the most trivial things. Some people may be selfish, like the professor said. But they're basically good if they try their best and never give up on their wishes. They always have a reason to be happy. That's why you should help them out. Saving them is a good thing. Shadow, I beg you, please do it for them. Give them a chance.
Shadow, I beg of you, please, do it for me.
Maria!
Provide a future for all people who live on that planet. Give them a chance to be happy. Let them live for their dreams. Shadow, I know you can do it. That's the reason why you were brought into this world. Sayonara, Shadow the Hedgehog.
I promised her, and I must keep that promise. That's what Maria wished for. I've got to go now. I have to keep my promise to Maria and you.
What's that? It looks just like the shrine of the Master Emerald.
They probably designed the core like the shrine to harness the power of the Chaos Emeralds.
All of you ungrateful humans who took everything away from me will feel
Knuckles, here it
my
comes.
loss and despair. All of you ungrateful humans who took everything away from me will feel my loss and despair.
Could this be the prototype of the ultimate life form that was supposed to be encapsulated?
Leave this one to me.
Shadow, what are you doing?
I'll take care of this while you run to get the Chaos Emeralds!
Alrighty folks, now it's time to take on the hardest boss in the game by far, the Bio Lizard. This is the prototype of the ultimate life form, and the ultimate life form is indeed Shadow, and this is indeed the creature that was in Rouge's report from earlier. But this is not the true ultimate life form. Shadow is indeed the ultimate life form. This is the prototype. How the fuck is this the prototype? How do you go from big fucking slug monster to a black hedgehog with jet skates? It makes no sense to me. One of these things is not like the other, but I digress. The reason this boss is one of the hardest, it has the biggest, it has the most varied attacks. It has a very dangerous surrounding, like a very dangerous environment. And I don't know why. I remember the first time I played this when I was 10 years younger than I am now. I just died on this guy a lot. I don't know why. The first time I ever took on Bio Lizard, I must have been 40 minutes on this boss. Literally like 40 minutes, and I just kept going like, why can't I beat this guy? The thing that makes him a little bit hard is you have to attack him by destroying that reactor thing. And you only get to do that when he gets tired after doing a whole bunch of these electric attacks, like these electric ball attacks. And he always shoots the electric balls in two different heights. He'll send one along the ground, and he'll send one just slightly above the ground. And what happens there is, if the ball of electricity is along the ground, you have to jump over it because you can't somersault under it. And if it's above the ground, well then you have to somersault under it. And that'll trip you up because you gotta be really paying attention to all the electric attacks that the Bio-Lizard is sending at you. And the more you hit Bio-Lizard, the more his attack strategy gets a little bit harder. Like, he starts shooting these electric balls now, and soon we're not going to be grinding on his neck tube things to get to the core on his back, you know? Like, soon there's going to be, like, these pink bubbles that you need to homing attack to climb higher and higher up in the sky and homing attack the core from up there. And, you know, the pink energy balls that he's shooting right now, actually, he's actually shooting some at you, as well as you homing attacking on them to get higher up through to the core. So, it's a little bit tricky, I'm not gonna lie. I had my issues. Another thing that's really awkward is that constantly, before the electric balls are happening, Bio-Lizard is actually chasing you. If he rams you with his head, he'll damage you. But if you go too far, you'll run into his tail, and his tail will actually start chasing you. So, like, you have to be... You can't run super fast in this segment. You have to run just slow enough that you don't run into his tail, and you're still running from his head, or you don't run into his head, you're just running from his tail, you know? And, one last thing, because this area is shaped like a Pokeball, there is a water stream that can send you flinging down the water pathway to an instant death if you land in the water. So you gotta constantly jump over the water stream as well. There's a lot of variables to this boss fight, and see, if I stayed in the water, I might have died there. But there's a lot of variables to this boss fight, and I remember when I was 13 years old, goddamn was this boss fight hard. It was long, it was complicated, there's so many variables to it, and yeah. I'm having trouble just with these things for some fucking reason. So it's a little bit cliche that, yeah, go figure, Shadow. Maria wanted you to save humanity because she was a nice girl. You remembered her as a nice girl. Hell, some of your flashbacks were pretty much like, what do you think it's like on Earth, Shadow? Just saying, Shadow. Do you think Maria wanted you to kill all these humans? I don't think so. It's a good thing you remembered that, eh? But, you know. Now Shadow's on the good side now, because he realizes that Maria doesn't want humanity to be fucked. Professor Gerald is doing something horribly wrong. Or has done something horribly wrong, because, well, Professor Gerald is dead at this point. And one thing I didn't mention in part 14, I'm sure someone in the comments already did, but the scene where Professor Gerald is declaring his death threat to all humanity, there's all these writing on the wall behind him. If you remember earlier, when Sonic was arrested and he was in Prison Island, he was in a jail cell with a whole bunch of writing on the wall. He was actually in Professor Gerald's old jail cell. It all comes full circle. The story has its snafus, and it's not the best story in the series, but I really do enjoy the cutscenes for what they are, and the little callbacks you get from rewatching scenes.
Get out, you ugly prototype!
Servers are the 7 Chaos. Chaos is power. Power is enriched by the heart. The controller is the one that unifies the chaos. Only you can do this. Stop the Chaos Emeralds! Is it gone?
Is that what Chaos Control is?
Since we've stopped the Chaos Emeralds, why is the space colony still on a crash course to Earth?
He's controlling the space colony as it's falling to Earth. He's become one with the space colony and is determined to
Holy shit! Super forms, bitches! So yeah, folks, we are actually officially going to the final video in part 16. We're coming to the end. We're at the final boss fight. Supersonic and Super Shadow. I remember, for some reason, for the longest time after Sonic Adventure 2 came out, I think GameFAQs or some kind of cheat sites incorrectly called Shadow Hyper Shadow in this form. And so many people keep calling him Hyper Shadow, but, like, that doesn't make sense. Because, like, we established in Sonic 3 and Knuckles that when you used the power of the Super Emeralds, then you were Hypersonic. And if they're using the power of the Chaos Emeralds, why would he be Hyper Shadow? He's Super Shadow, and his name has been correctly called Super Shadow in other games in the series, so you know. It's Supersonic and Super Shadow. Also, the transformation scene was, it was interesting. I mean, you know, I don't understand. I'm not going to say what Sonic and Shadow should do when they're gaining power and turning into their super forms, but when you hold your hand out like that and you thrust it back and forth really fast, you know, some of my friends might make the argument that they might have been masturbating. I mean, I'm not saying that's what they were doing. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that that motion was kind of funny to some people because it just looks so wrong. And they never masturbated to become super ever again. But I'm just saying. Just had to point it out. I don't have a dirty mind. That's what my friends say. I never imagined they were masturbating to turn super. Oh boy. But yeah, I'm gonna get off this topic. Ladies and gentlemen, the final part of Sonic Adventure 2, the thrilling conclusion in part 16. Stay tuned for that.